Welcome to Depthline. Today we're breaking down the highly anticipated continuation of the detective franchise, the film Knives Out, Wake Up Dead Man, from director Rian Johnson. This is a story about a mysterious murder in a small church where private detective Benoit Blanc faces a classic locked room mystery, religious fanaticism, and greed capable of driving someone to crime. Get ready for a complex investigation where every parishioner hides their sins, and the truth will prove far more terrifying than any suspicions. The story begins with young priest Judd Lensley, remembering his boxing past, unable to hold back and throwing a hook at an arrogant deacon. Given the perpetrator's sincere remorse and the victim's nasty character, Judd isn't removed from service, but is transferred to a small church as assistant to the local rector, Monsignor Jefferson Wicks. Arriving at his new post, Judd immediately notices something strange. There's no cross on the church wall. The introduction to Jefferson and his assistant Martha is quite unusual. First thing, the boss asks the newcomer to hear his confession, admitting to envy, greed, and self-gratification. Jefferson has an obsessive need to control everything around him. Later, Judd meets the groundskeeper, Samson, a handyman, Martha's lover, and a recovering alcoholic, just like Jefferson himself. The priest categorically forbids hanging a cross on the wall. It's a reminder of his mother Grace's sins, who was a woman of loose morals. Martha tells the newcomer the tragic story of the Wicks family. Jefferson's grandfather promised to leave Grace his $80 million fortune if she would live with him and look after his grandson. When the old man died, it turned out his accounts were empty. Enraged, Grace destroyed the church and beat little Martha for saying that God would forgive her. Soon after, Grace died of an aneurysm right by her father's crypt. Jefferson inherited his grandfather's work, becoming a priest, but his methods were extremely aggressive. He insulted parishioners until they left. Eventually, he formed a small group of loyal followers. Among them is lawyer Vera, raising her adopted son, Cy. According to townspeople, Cy is her half-brother. The young man tried to become a politician, but failed, and switched to video blogging. Also in the group are local Dr. Sharp, writer Lee Ross, who's writing a book about Jefferson, and former cellist Simone, confined to a wheelchair and making large donations to the church in hopes of a divine miracle. Judd organizes a meeting with parishioners and confesses that he became a priest after killing a man during a boxing match. When Martha accuses him of rebelling to seize power, Judd objects that she herself fears the current priest. To prove otherwise, the woman goes to Jefferson for confession, and her revelations greatly surprise the rector. Judd catches Jefferson in a lie and promises to get rid of him. This moment is caught on camera by the eavesdropping Cy. That evening, the young pastor sees a gathering of parishioners, from which Jefferson angrily drives him away. Understanding he's lost, Judd gets drunk at a bar where he finds a devil's head finial. Taking the trinket on his way home, he throws it through the church window. On Good Friday, after finishing another furious sermon, Jefferson goes into the altar room to rest while Judd prepares props. Suddenly, the old man collapses unconscious. Judd goes to check on him, and the other parishioners follow. They see a pool of blood under the lying man and a devil's head, finial, protruding from his back. Dr. Sharp extracts it along with a long blade that stabbed the Monsignor. Police arrive led by Sheriff Geraldine. Judd becomes the main suspect. Cy posted a video where he threatened the deceased. In the church, private detective Benoit Blanc appears to the praying Judd, called in by the sheriff. Being convinced of the priest's innocence, the detective asks him to assist in the investigation. They examine the body at the morgue and visit the bar where the finial came from. Then Blanc explains, this is a perfect crime of the type described in detective novels. The title of one book, The Three Coffins, by John Dixon Carr, seems familiar to Judd. Such a book is on the reading list of the parishioners' book club, which consists of detective novels. In the church, Blanc proposes a theory about a remote mechanism that threw the knife at the victim. In the process, the detective learns that cops found 2 small red threads on the floor. The investigation is interrupted by Martha's appearance, accusing Judd of murder. To blow off steam, the priest goes to Samson's garage to hit a punching bag. In the process, he notices interference on the video recording of a sports match that was playing during the murder. But forensics determined the interference appeared several seconds later, when Jefferson had already fallen. After reading Judd's written account of events, the detective catches him in a lie. After the murder, he spent time alone with the deceased without witnesses. The pastor admits he hid a flask of alcohol to avoid tarnishing the good name of the sober Jefferson. Blanc believes him. On the day of the funeral, Jefferson is placed in a coffin, and then a special excavator with suction cups opens the crypt. The detective gathers all the parishioners to talk, but they're not inclined to share details. Only Cy shows footage of the last meeting. The video reveals a terrible truth. Vera learned that the father of her adopted son, Cy, is Jefferson. The priest fathered the boy on the side, and to hide his violation of celibacy, his friend forced his daughter to adopt the child. The woman threatens to reveal the priest's hypocrisy to the whole town. Jefferson counters that he's retiring, but before that, at the Easter service, he'll publicly reveal everyone present's weaknesses. After viewing, Cy admits he spoke with Jefferson privately. His father found the grandfather's lost inheritance worth $80 million. Cy offered to put the money toward a political campaign, but the priest didn't say where the money was. The only clue is the phrase, Eve's apple. Among the documents, Judd finds a request for special equipment for the crypt, ordered before Jefferson's murder. The partners separate. The priest goes home while Blanc stays at the church. The arriving sheriff announces he's solved the case and suspects Judd, but the detective asks for time. Judd approaches the crypt and sees the door opening from inside. Jefferson's figure emerges from the grave and approaches a person with a flashlight. The priest runs after them but runs into someone's fist. Coming to, the guy sees he's lying next to the groundskeeper's corpse, clutching a sickle. Seeing Blanc's flashlight, he flees. The sheriff and detective examine the crypt, finding a broken, empty coffin. Outside, Martha appears in religious ecstasy. The miracle of resurrection has occurred. The hiding. Judd learns that Jefferson himself ordered the equipment a couple days before his death. By morning, parishioners receive news of the priest's resurrection. Blanc meets Judd, who's decided to surrender, and together they drive to Dr. Sharp's. Finding an open door and disorder, the pair descend to the basement where they find the dead Jefferson leaning over a tub of acid. Draining the chemicals, Blanc sees at the bottom the doctor's skeleton with his distinctive wedding ring. The detective gathers everyone at the church for the final explanation. He reveals that there was an exact copy of the finial at the bar. The killer attached it to the priest's robe along with a remote device releasing blood, adding a massive dose of sedative to Jefferson's booze. When he took a swig from the flask, the drug instantly knocked out the old man. Then Dr. Sharp activated the blood flow and replaced the finial, stabbing the preacher with a knife he'd brought. However, this doesn't explain the miraculous resurrection. When sunlight falls on Blanc's face, he admits he's hit a dead end. The gathering disperses in disappointment. The remaining Martha asks Judd for confession and admits she always knew where old Wicks hid his wealth. After buying the Eve's apple diamond, he swallowed it before death. Grace, finding the packaging, decided her father had hidden the stone in the church, which is why she tore everything apart. Little Martha knew the truth, but didn't tell, for which she got slapped. The secret was revealed when Judd encouraged her to confess to Jefferson. The priest ordered the excavator to retrieve the stone from his grandfather's crypt. Seeing that she'd pushed the heir onto the path of greed, Martha decided on radical measures, to kill him and stage a resurrection to restore people's faith. She teamed up with Dr. Sharp, who had access to medications. Together they staged the spectacle with the finials, poisoned booze, and knife. At night, groundskeeper Samson emerged from the crypt, retrieved the diamond from the grandfather's remains, and went outside where Sharp was waiting. But Judd spotted them. When Samson knocked him out, the doctor's greed took over. He killed his accomplice, framing the priest. Learning of this, Martha visited Sharp at home and switched the coffee mugs, allowing the doctor to drink the poison he'd added to hers. But she herself didn't want to live with such sin, and also took the poison. Blanc noticed symptoms of poisoning during her speech, so he gave her time to unburden her soul. Martha dies in Judd's arms, who manages to absolve her sins. A precious stone falls from her dead hand. Not wanting anything to do with it, Blanc leaves, leaving the priest with a difficult choice. After what happened, the church was closed for a whole year. Sai tried to find out where the treasure was, accusing Judd of stealing the inheritance. The pastor replies that truth and wealth are in Christ. Before the church's reopening, he personally carves a crucifix from wood to hang on the wall. When the camera zooms in, you can see that inside the wooden Jesus' chest is hidden the diamond. Knives Out, Wake Up Dead Man is not just a detective puzzle, but a profound parable about how greed destroys human souls and undermines the very foundation of faith. Rian Johnson masterfully interweaves a classic locked room mystery with biblical motifs of redemption and sin. The film shows that true evil hides not in obvious suspects, but in good intentions twisted by greed. Martha wanted to save the parishioners' faith, but her plan led only to new deaths. Dr. Sharp, who agreed to help from noble motives, couldn't resist the temptation of wealth. Benoit Blanc, for the third time, proves that truth is always more complex than it first appears, and every person is capable of both sainthood and crime. The final image of the diamond hidden in the wooden crucifix perfectly symbolizes the main idea. The true treasure is not in material values, but in spiritual wealth that cannot be stolen or sold. If you enjoyed this recap, hit like and subscribe to Depthline. We regularly break down the most twisted mysteries and thrillers. Turn on notifications so you don't miss new episodes. Write in the comments which character seemed most interesting to you, and whether you expected such an ending. What mystery would you like to see on the channel next? Thanks for watching, and remember, sometimes the most terrible sins are committed in the name of faith. See you in the next video.